This right here is one of the nicest ice houses I have seen in a long time. This is the all-new Campsite Ice 21DM. And not only is it a great layout, which we'll go inside and see in just a second, but it's also built on the GS trailer frame, which is like the Mercedes of ice house frames. From the hydraulic system to the maintenance-free axles, this thing is absolutely killer. Let's go inside and take a look. All right, an ice house needs to be a lot of things, right? It needs to be spacious. It needs to have a big enough heater. It has to have moisture removal systems, and it has to, more importantly, work for all of your ice fishing needs. And this one right here hits on absolutely all of them. As you can see, it is a nice big floor plan here. All the way around the back, you get this giant dinette with the table, so it's perfect. You can sit around and play cards with all your buddies while watching whatever you want to watch. You can see right over, kind of all the way around, you have window space. They do have the coverings on here, so you can black that out. But we can kind of see how many windows are in this thing, not just in the back, but all the way around here too. You have windows here. We have some, it's kind of tough to see, but you have windows over there, and you have a window in the kitchen. So you have windows all the way around, giving you, not just letting in a lot of light, but giving you excellent visibility so you can see who's coming up to your ice house. Like, hey, you know, maybe it's your buddy Chris, who's a conservation officer, and he's just stopping in to say hi. And maybe you just want to be able to see him before he sees you. All the windows in here will let you do exactly that. Now, another great thing about this table is that this does drop down into a bed, so that creates the king bed. But if you want to be able to use the fishing holes there, that's not a problem. You can just take the table. This is a Happy Jack bed system, so you can just throw it up there and lift it right up to the ceiling and still be able to use those fishing holes, no problem at all. And again, I guess I should mention, right? So you do get the Happy Jack bed here, so you do have several different sleeping options. Now, as we kind of move up, a couple other things here, you will see that this one does have an inverted outlet as well. Now, chances are, you know, you'll have your own generator or be hooked up, you know, to a couple buddies. But if you don't, this one does still have essentially one inverted outlet, so you can hook something up in here. Incredible entertainment center with a fireplace. You can have that bad boy ripping all day long as you're ripping back some brewskis. You can see you have the cedar cabinetry all the way around in here. If we take a look at the holes, I just want to talk about a few different things. So these are going to be your standard size holes. You have the catch covers on here. And then as I lift this up and out, I wanted you to notice a few different things. One of them, because it is a standard size hole, you can put like the honeycomb in here and not have to worry about your cell phone, you know, falling to the bottom of Leech Lake. But beyond that is going to be the fact that if you take a look at the floor, right, this has an actual subfloor. You have a 2x3 insulated subfloor, and that's something that oftentimes you just don't get. Most ice houses, they're just going to use like a plywood, like just one piece of plywood for the floor, and that's going to sit directly on the frame, and you don't get the insulation. With this one right here, again, you're getting that 2x3 floor. That's huge. Another thing that they do, and you know, this any good ice house will do, but every hole, well, basically every hole, there's a few that don't, but almost every hole is lit. And then right up here is going to be a 12x12 plate for your rattle reels. So there are 4 different spots you can hook those up. You'll have 2 right here. You can mount the other 2 right over here. So again, you know, they're definitely thinking through this entire ice house. Now, because this is on the GS trailer chassis, that's going to do a couple other things as well. Because the hydraulic system on the GS trailer is kind of sits so low, it allows you to bring the wheel well down, which allows you to get all of this additional storage. Most of the time, you know, if you're using another ice house chassis, you don't get all this great storage, but you get a ton in here thanks to using that GS trailer chassis. You also have incredible prep space right up here, super easy to clean. You know, cleaning your walleye, it's an excellent spot to do it. It's not going to, you know, it's non-porous. You're not going to have to worry about it getting in countertops or anything like that. As I said, windows there. You also get the storage right up here, kind of along the top. You also see a couple speakers for listening to some music. All right, another thing I wanted to hit on in the entertainment center here, I know we talked about, again, all the storage thanks to the chassis there, and we talked about the fireplace. One thing I didn't talk about, though, was the TV. And one of the things I really like about it, if you take a look right up here, like, yes, you have your outlet and your TV and satellite and everything, but this right here is actually going to be tied to a fish camera. So that is actually tied in right down here, which is pretty great. And of course, you know, if you need Starlink or something like that, you can have that installed easily enough. You will also see all these vents right down here, and that's because this one has a 35,000 BTU furnace. So it's going to keep things nice and toasty in here, which is exactly what you want. You can see some seating here, so if you do get the jackknife sofa, this also folds out into a bed. You have the bed right up here. This one, of course, just flips up. But the great thing about this, I don't know if you noticed when we were in here, I'm 6 foot tall. I have a foot of headroom because we have 7 foot tall ceilings. So not only does that allow us to have great upper storage, right, and kind of like right over here in the kitchen, but what it also does is when I go down to sit on this sofa, look, I have space, right? I don't have to put this bed up if I don't want to. So even if one of your buddies needs to pass out a little early, he can do that and you can still be able to sit here, you can still hang out. It's gonna be the same thing in the back, right? That Happy Jack has a lot of space. You can lower that down so people can still get up in there and still be able to sit around the table and fully utilize that space. Now, as we take a look kind of across the way into the kitchen, you get a 3-burner cooktop and oven, nice stainless steel sink right here. It kind of has like that honeycomb, like that hex clad looking pattern. The sink top cover there as well. One of my favorite additions, man, I'm gonna use that all winter long. And microwave and hood there as well. And then of course we have to have a place for our beverages, and that's exactly what we get right here in this Furion. I think it's a 10.7 cubic foot. This one is going to be 12 volts, so this will run off the batteries as well. But again, chances are, you know, most of us are going to be running a generator. So again, like great space right back here. But one of the things I really want to point out, and one of the ways that you can kind of justify this, whether it is, you know, justifying it in your own mind or to your family, right, or maybe just your wife, is the fact that you can use this year round. Like, yes, obviously, you know, we want it for fishing season, but this one has an AC unit in here, right? You get a full kitchen. If you want to camp in this, you absolutely can, because this one also has a bathroom right up front here. You have an actual toilet right here with a black tank. You have linen storage on both sides. Now, mind you, right, if you need, you still have enough space to hang your auger right there. That's not a problem. But then right over here is going to be your shower. So it does come with the shower too. And then right up top is going to be the 14-inch max air fan. So the great thing about that is that you can turn that on, and what you'll notice is the top of this door is open. So you can turn that on, and then it will take all the moisture from here and it'll suck it right out. So you can, you know, have your 35,000 BTU furnace running, having that fan running. You'll be nice and toasty in here while you're out on the lake, and it's going to be fairly dry, right? It's going to do a good job of taking that moisture out. Speaking of dry, something else that I really like that they did that I want to point out, if we take a look right down here at the floor, you will see they brought the trim up quite a ways, right? And the reason they did that, of course, is from all the snow from our holes as well as the boots. You know, they want to just try to make sure everything stays a little bit drier. So again, everything they have done here has intent and purpose, and I'm really impressed. But I think you'll be equally impressed with the outside, so let's go check it out. All right, and here we are, as I said, the Campsite S21DM, and this one is built on the GS trailer chassis. As I said kind of the beginning of this video, this essentially is like the Mercedes of Icehouse chassis, right? The hydraulic system, the axles we'll get to in just a minute, but they do such an incredible job. And yes, you can absolutely keep this hooked up to your truck while you drop this down on ice. You'll also see your two 30-pound propane tanks here, and there's an electrical outlet so you can easily plug in your blanket right there to put on your propane tanks. Love that. You'll see right up top we have this flashing light. I turned it on for now. Yeah, obviously you can turn it off, but cool thing about this is if you're out on the ice and your buddies need to find you, you know, because they're coming a little bit later, you can turn this on, you can turn the awning LED light on. They'll be able to find you nice and quickly and easily. Right up here, you can see your battery compartment. That, of course, is going to be inside, obviously, to keep it nice and toasty. But this is kind of what I was talking about, right? As we take a look at the hydraulic system, you can see how much lower this is. Like the wheel well doesn't need to be nearly as big. They can bring this down, which is part of the reason we get all that storage on there. Another thing we want to talk about here is going to be the axles. So as I was kind of mentioning, this one is going to use, it's like a greaseless axle essentially. They use composite bushings with like they have a really high compression strength, and there's essentially going to be zero metal to metal contact on there, which is fantastic. great corrosion resistance. It's going to be super serviceable too. Then the chassis itself is just going to be stronger. They use a 6-inch main beam on here with C-channels rather than angle iron, which do a lot to give you some significant stiffness in the floor and really just the overall structure altogether. They definitely did it right from the ground all the way up. As I talked about, you do have a power awning, so if you do, take this camping in the fall or summer, you have that awning for coverage. Coming along in the back, you will see that we have our rear observation camera. As I talked about, inside we have windows just all the way around here. And of course, with the GS trailer system, as I mentioned, it's hydraulic. A few years back, a lot of manufacturers were trying electric, and when the frame sat down, it didn't have enough power to get it back up, right? It would freeze to the lake, and they found huge issues. So GS trailers, again, not only do they have a hydraulic system, but they easily have, in my opinion, probably one of the best in the industry. Taking a look up top, it's not on right now, but there is another LED light right here you can turn on. So again, that way you can spot your ice house nice and easy. The tankless water heater, that's not going to do a whole lot in winter, but again, if you take this out in summer and fall, you can definitely use that. You'll also see your fresh tank fill here, as well as a city water inlet. Again, if we're taking it out camping, you can see the 30 amp detachable power cord right there, and then right up here is going to be your termination, so that way you can dump your tank. So you can just hook it up right there and be good to go. So as I said, easily one of the best ice houses I have seen in a long time. If you're interested and you would like price and availability, there will be a link in the description. If you want to come see one for yourself, you can stop in pretty much any Camping World, your local Camping World in a Minnesota location, and we should have some in stock. So thanks for watching. I'm Ian Baker, and until next time, we'll see you.